Obviously, you haven't heard the pub bark. Welcome to Mornings on Main Street in Clarksville. This week we hear from financial advisor Ben Smith on the best way to talk to your kids about money. After that, we learn about brain health seminars and why it is so important to stay brain healthy, how that's possible, and where you can take part in the next seminar in our area. But first, let's check in with reporter Cheri Reeves to see what's making the wrap in this week's edition of Main Street Clarksville.
If you know an old family cemetery in Montgomery County, the Archives Office wants to talk to you and have the information logged into its historical records. Graham Perry, the Historic Cemetery Preservation Specialist from the Tennessee Historical Commission, will be in Clarksville next week to address the Historical Society on this topic. The event is free. Elite Gymnastics of Clarksville is growing its operation into a 55,000 square foot sports complex being constructed on Madison Street, just across from Golly G's. In addition to a large gymnasium, the 7 acres of land will offer an outdoor splash pad, playground, and a quarter-size basketball court for kids to be used in its summer camp programs. The Black Rifle Company raised more than $20,000 last week in the wake of the Black Hawk helicopter crash that took the lives of 9 of our U.S. soldiers. A memorial service in Clarksville is scheduled Thursday for those victims. A specified area of downtown Clarksville will be closed to business activity and public parking from April 17th through the 19th. While crews film a scene for a movie called Holland, Michigan. Read this week's edition to find out which streets will be closed. And finally, if you're not an American Idol fan and you live in Clarksville, you need to start watching that program. Haven Madison, a student at Clarksville High School, is climbing the Idol ladder and has been named to the top 24 contestants. That is quite an accomplishment. Good luck, Haven. We'll be watching. And that's the wrap. I'm Cheri Reeves, Main Street, Clarksville.
Here at the Journey Louis team with Benchmark Realty, we pride ourselves on the service that we provide our clients.
We believe in delivering a level of service that is above and beyond what is expected.
We don't cut corners and we are always available. We are committed to learning and continuously sharpening our skills.
We're social media experts, we're tech savvy, and we embrace change.
It is our unending desire to be our client's realtor for life. We are the Journey Louis team, leading you home.
As a busy mom juggling family, errands, and everything life throws at me, I try my best to be environmentally conscious. So of course, I buy flushable wipes thinking I'm doing the right thing. But it turns out flushable wipes aren't actually flushable. I found out the hard way when flushable wipes caused a clog and flooded my house with sewage. It ended up costing me thousands of dollars in damage and a big headache with the insurance company. It's safe to say our family will never flush a flushable wipe again, and instead put them where they belong, in the trash.
Hockey in Music City just hits different. It's one big honky-tonk party. It's the sea of gold in the crowd, the goals, the saves, the celebrations. It's an experience like no other. Experience Predators hockey all season long. Visit NashvillePredators.com/season tickets and join the Loyal Legion today. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets, and we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
Welcome back. We have our favorite financial advisor back with us from Northwestern Mutual this morning. We have Ben Smith and a really great topic today. So thanks for coming back to talk about talking to your kids about money.
Thanks for having me back.
Oh gosh, anytime. So what's that first, how do we open up that conversation to talk good money practices with kids or teenagers?
Yeah, and that's a really hard one because automatically, whenever we think of money, we think of things like saving for retirement and using things like a 401k. And kids don't know what that is, right? I will tell you, having spent about a decade in finance, the biggest realization that I've had is that money behavior trumps money knowledge.
Okay.
And so, you can arm them and explain to them what a Roth IRA is and what a 401k is and, why they should pay their bills. But if you're not influencing their behavior, it's going to be largely for naught. And so that is, with our kids, that's something that my wife and I have really put an effort in to emphasize is that behavior management. Now, everyone's heard of that phrase that time is money, right?
Yes.
And there's same time management principles applied to money management. Let me give you an example.
Please.
So this morning, we had some kids in our house that really wanted to read their books. They went to a library yesterday afternoon, and this morning, opened them up right after breakfast, but that was wrong. They had chores that they were supposed to do. And so they got to hear one of Dad's frequent sayings, you do what you have to do before you do what you want to do. And so for a kid, that's a really easy, you have to knock out your chores before you do what you want to do, right?
Right.
Well, Saturday is April 1st, and for a lot of people, they're going to receive their first paycheck for the month. And you have to do what you have to do before you do what you want to do.
So you're talking about paying bills at that time or putting that money back before you spend it on something else.
Exactly. Because if you've allocated that money towards what you want to do with it, there may not be money left over for what you have to do with it.
You're right.
Another concept that we've really tried to enforce in our children is that, so they understand it, is that all of their time can be broken down into three main categories: production, education, and consumption. As a parent, I obviously don't want all of my children's waking hours to be focused on consumption or entertainment activities. We want them to be focused on their education.
Right.
We want them to be doing something productive, learning skills. And so, we've taken a little exercise where we spray painted these little balls and different colors, one color for their entertainment or their consumption, one color for their production, one color for their education, and give them 168 balls, and they get to figure out how many hours they spend every week in each one of those categories. It's a really easy way to visualize how your time is being spent. And so for the kids, that emphasis on that time management will absolutely create discipline and behavior that will translate to how they manage their money. The last thing I wanted to point out too is that with kids, whenever they receive money, what do they want to do with it? The same thing that us adults do, right?
Save it?
Well, we want to spend it, right? There's always something that we want.
Right.
And so as soon as we get that money, we want to go out and get that thing that we want. And so with our kids, one of the things that we've reinforced with them is buy some things that will have value. Now, kids don't really like stocks or bonds that much. It's not a fun thing for them to play around with. But one of the things that our kids do love to play with is these little silver rounds. It's pure silver. It has value. And they get to spend money on something that they like. But that thing that they like actually has a value that they will be able to have when they're adults.
Wow, that's amazing and great advice right there. And I hate to say that's kind of where our time goes today. So next time we're going to pick it up with another question talking about, when your teen does have maybe poor money management skills, how you can maybe revisit the topic again to try to get them back on track. So Ben will help us with that next time. Thank you so much for all of that.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Stick with us here on Mornings on Main Street. We have more coming up after this.
Welcome to the Omni Nashville Hotel. Urban elegance with a vintage touch. Our 800-room hotel opened up in the fall of 2013 with 746 guest rooms and 54 suites.
As a busy mom juggling family, errands, and everything life throws at me, I try my best to be environmentally conscious. So of course, I buy flushable wipes thinking I'm doing the right thing. But it turns out flushable wipes aren't actually flushable. I found out the hard way when flushable wipes caused a clog and flooded my house with sewage. It ended up costing me thousands of dollars in damage and a big headache with the insurance company. It's safe to say our family will never flush a flushable wipe again, and instead put them where they belong, in the trash.
Here at the Journey Louis team with Benchmark Realty, we pride ourselves on the service that we provide our clients.
We believe in delivering a level of service that is above and beyond what is expected.
We don't cut corners and we are always available. We are committed to learning and continuously sharpening our skills.
We're social media experts, we're tech savvy, and we embrace change.
It is our unending desire to be our client's realtor for life. We are the Journey Louis team, leading you home.
Welcome back. This morning, we're on the topic of brain health and why it's so important to gain the proper knowledge to know more about brain health. And to tell us all about this and share some information with us this morning, we have Dr. Erin Taylor from the Tennessee Center of Integrated Medicine. First off, Dr. Taylor, thank you so much for giving us your time.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
So your clinic is hosting a brain seminar or brain health seminar. Though this particular seminar is full, what is some of that information coming out that people will be taking home with them?
Yeah, so we do regular seminars once or twice a month, educating on various different topics. This one happens to be brain health. And yes, this week is full, but we will have others. So some of the things they come away with is really more of just how your health in total is an aspect of so many different things. And sadly, in most of Western medicine, we have lots of medications and surgeries. And don't get me wrong, those absolutely have their place, but we're also the sickest country and we spend a lot of money on a lot of things that aren't getting us very healthy. So we come out as in our presentations and we talk about what are the root causes of health problems, and what we call the pillars of health to help us to build that healthy body, healthy mind, healthy everything. Our pillars of health are nutrition and detox, exercise, our nervous system or our brain, and that kind of stuff as well, and hormones.
So when you talk about this, you're touching on the pillars. What sort of tips are you giving, and what information will people take away that they can, I guess, utilize in their daily lives?
So, there's always little tips and tricks that we say, and we always talk about how to educate and empower people that they have control of their health. So maybe it's just the thoughts that, wow, when I came away from here, I didn't even realize that what my nutrition was doing was maybe impacting why I don't have the energy that I'd like to have, or I didn't think about why my anxiety was related to my irritable bowel syndrome, different things like that. But more than knowledge, it's really a fraction of all these things are important. We've got the internet, we've got an abundance of knowledge on things, but it's really okay. Are you moving from I'm interested in this, and this is cool information, and that's all great, but are you really going to do something about it? Are you committed to changing your life with it? So,
this had to have a starting point, and we were talking a little bit before we got started. Can you share with us why your office, your clinic, began hosting this particular type of seminar?
Yeah, sure. So we started several years ago, and it's always been our mission to just help people change their lives without the use of drugs and surgery. And again, not that there's not a time and a place for those, but that's just not what we do in our clinic.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were doing things like stress hormones and health and, things on heart disease, that kind of, other health things. But about a year ago, a provider in our clinic named Michael took his own life. And the next day at church, one of his patients came up to me and asked what happened. And I was surprised by the question. I really didn't know how to answer. And it just felt so heavy that I struggled. And I remember what I said to the lady at the time, but I knew that my answer was hiding the truth. And so I didn't sleep well that night. And I really was hoping that I'd see her again the next day at another church event. And I said that, in my head, I was like, I have to tell her what actually happened. Had he died in a car accident or a heart attack or something along those lines, it felt like that would have been easier to say than the heaviness that was the truth that he took his own life. And so we started doing brain health seminars to educate people on brain health, on how we have a modality called neurofeedback, and how through neurofeedback we can change the way that our brain waves are functioning, which can in turn change the way our emotions are being felt and processed. So it started out as a tragic story, and it's still tragic, and we miss so much, but I'm hoping that we can bring some good out of it, and we have, and there's been several people whose lives have been changed through coming through our programs and doing neurofeedback.
So happy to hear that. And this information, incredibly helpful. Where can we follow the other seminars that you host and other brain health seminars that Tennessee Center of Integrated Medicine puts on?
Usually on Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. Our advertisements will pop up. We do have a website, tim.com. And then you're always welcome to call the clinic. The clinic is via phone is probably the best way to know the upcoming dates of seminars, both stress hormones and health and brain health. So, and our phone number is 931-919-3833.
Dr. Taylor, again, thank you so much for your time, for this information, and I look forward to catching up with you in the future again. Dr. Erin Taylor with Tennessee Center of Integrated Medicine, thank you again.
Thank you.
There's a lot to consider when it comes to choosing a Medicare plan. That's where Health Markets Insurance Agency can help. Independent licensed insurance agents who work with Health Markets can answer your questions about the different parts of Medicare, when you can enroll, benefits, costs, and more. Speak to a local licensed insurance agent today to get started on your Medicare journey.
Here at the Journey Louis team with Benchmark Realty, we pride ourselves on the service that we provide our clients.
We believe in delivering a level of service that is above and beyond what is expected.
We don't cut corners, and we are always available. We are committed to learning and continuously sharpening our skills.
We're social media experts, we're tech savvy, and we embrace change.
It is our unending desire to be our client's realtor for life. We are the Journey Louis team, leading you home.
As a busy mom juggling family, errands, and everything life throws at me, I try my best to be environmentally conscious. So of course, I buy flushable wipes thinking I'm doing the right thing. But it turns out flushable wipes aren't actually flushable. I found out the hard way. When flushable wipes caused a clog and flooded my house with sewage, it ended up costing me thousands of dollars in damage and a big headache with the insurance company. It's safe to say our family will never flush a flushable wipe again, and instead put them where they belong.